Welcome to Daily Review, your daily dose of literary exploration. We dive into books that spark curiosity and ignite growth. While our passion often leads us to nonfiction reads that empower and improve your life, no book is off limits. From gripping thrillers to insightful memoirs and compelling fiction to historical accounts, we're here to share and discuss all the interesting reads we discover. Tune in for your next great book idea. Thank you so much for tuning in to Daily Review. We truly appreciate you joining us for your daily dose of literary exploration. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue to share these amazing books with you. If today's review sparked your interest and you're ready to dive into a copy of the book, please consider using the link in our description to make your purchase. Not only does it make it easy for you to get your hands on the book, but it also directly supports our channel and the author, allowing us to keep bringing you more great content. Thanks again for being a part of the Daily Review community. Today we're really digging into Cal Newport's deep work. You, our listener, suggested this one. Maybe you're hoping to get a better handle on focusing, amidst all the distractions.
Yeah, it's a big one. Everyone feels it, right?
Totally. So our goal is kind of unpack Newport's central ideas and see what really stands out for you, someone who's keen to learn effectively, thoroughly, without feeling completely overwhelmed.
And we'll look at why deep work matters, why it feels so rare these days.
And maybe pull out some practical strategies Newport offers. The book itself, it really champions the power, the rarity, and the satisfaction of focused work.
It does. It gives you a framework to build that skill. And he uses great examples like Carl Jung's retreats.
Or Bill Gates' Think Weeks, and just stories of people who really embraced deep focus.
Yeah, transformative stuff.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start? Value?
Yeah, value seems like the right place. What's fascinating right off the bat is how Newport positions deep work. It's not just about productivity, it's a core skill for today's economy.
How so?
Well, he starts by saying the ability to quickly grasp complex information is absolutely key. Things change so fast. Technology, knowledge, you need to learn fast.
Right. To stay relevant, basically. And deep work is the engine for that learning.
Exactly. And he makes this really interesting point about the internet, how it's kind of a double-edged sword here.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, if you can produce truly outstanding work, your potential reach is just enormous now. Think about it. Coders, writers, their work can go global instantly.
But the flip side?
The flip side is that mediocre work just gets lost. It's drowned out, easily replaced. So the pressure to really excel, to produce top-tier stuff, is way higher.
So the stakes are higher because the potential reward and the potential for being ignored are both amplified.
Precisely. And this connects to that superstar effect people talk about. Companies can hire the best talent from anywhere for specific projects, right?
Yeah, like David Heinemeier Hansen, the Ruby on Rails guy he mentions.
Exactly. It rewards deep expertise, which for you as a learner really highlights why mastering something deeply is so valuable. You stand out.
He grounds this with that Jason Ben example, which I found pretty striking.
Oh, yeah, the guy who taught himself to code.
Yeah. Went from spending, 98% of his day surfing the web, which is wild,
I know,
to locking himself away, basically, with textbooks and no internet, doing these intense, multi-hour coding blocks.
Sounds extreme, but look at the results. Much better job, competitive field, just after a couple of months of that deep focus.
It really makes you wonder what's possible with that level of concentration.
It drives home Newport's point. Deep work isn't just about efficiency. It's about building valuable in-demand skills, even with AI and machines, like Nate Silver's data analysis.
Right. It's not just using the tool.
No. The deep work is in understanding the data, asking the right questions, finding the actual insights. That takes serious focus.
Okay, so deep work is clearly valuable, but Newport insists it's becoming increasingly rare. Why do you think he says that?
Well, this brings up, how we actually work today. Newport points to a lot of things in modern work environments that actively discourage deep focus.
Like open offices.
Exactly. Open office plans are a big one. The idea is collaboration, sure, but the reality is often just constant noise, interruptions, makes it incredibly hard to concentrate. Facebook's office is a classic example he brings up.
Right. And it's not just the physical space, is it? It's the culture, too.
Oh, absolutely. That culture of constant connectivity. The pressure to be instantly responsive on email, Slack, whatever.
The feeling that you have to be on social media, even if you're like a serious journalist doing deep research.
Yeah, he questions the Alyssa Rubin example, the New York Times journalist. Should she really feel obligated to tweet throughout the day when it might be hindering her actual research and writing?
It makes you think about the hidden cost of always being on.
Totally. And Newport talks about those hidden costs, especially with things we think are free, like email. He mentions Tom Cochran's analysis at Atlantic Media.
Oh, the one about the cost of email.
Yeah. They figured out the sheer volume of internal email was costing them like over $1 million a year in lost productivity.
Wow, that's staggering. For email.
Right. It shows how these seemingly small, shallow tasks add up and drain resources, time, energy, your focus.
It feels like we just default to the easiest thing, doesn't it? Even if it's not the most important.
That's what he calls the principle of least resistance. Without clear feedback on what actually moves the needle, we drift towards easier, shallower activities. Busy work.
So we need clearer metrics.
That's part of it, but also structures that force disconnection sometimes. Like Leslie Perlow's study at Boston Consulting Group, mandatory disconnection days.
And it worked.
Yeah, improved well-being and productivity. It shows that pushing back against that always available culture can actually be beneficial.
It's harder in knowledge work, though, isn't it? Measuring output compared to, say, physics where you have publications.
Definitely. That's a key challenge. Richard Feynman deliberately avoiding admin stuff to protect his thinking time. That really shows the importance of knowing what your core high-value work is and guarding the time for it.
So deep work. Yeah. Valuable. Increasingly rare. But Newport also argues it's meaningful. Why meaningful?
This is where it gets really interesting. He looks at it from a few angles, neurological and philosophical.
Logical.
Yeah, he talks about myelination, that process where your brain wraps neural pathways in myelin, making them faster and more efficient. Intense focus actually speeds this up for the skill you're practicing.
So deep work literally rewires your brain to be better at the task.
In essence, yes, it's the biology behind deliberate practice, that concept from K. Anders Ericsson. It's not just putting in hours, it's the intensity of focus during those hours that matters for skill improvement.
Makes you rethink how you approach learning, right? Not just passive reading, but active, focused engagement.
Exactly. Which leads to his productivity formula. High quality work equals time spent times intensity of focus.
Simple but powerful.
Very. And that intensity piece is crucial. He brings up Sophie Leroy's attention residue idea.
Yeah, when you switch tasks, part of your brain is still stuck on the last thing.
Right, so constant switching just tanks your focus and your overall output quality.
He does mention people like Jack Dorsey, who seem to thrive in chaos.
He does, but he cautions against generalizing that. Their roles are often different, maybe more about communication and quick decisions than deep creation. It's not a universal model.
What about the philosophical side of meaning?
He connects it to craftsmanship. Think of a master artisan, like that sword maker Rick Furr he mentions. The intense concentration, the dedication, there's deep satisfaction in that mastery.
Like Matthew Crawford's shop class is soulcraft, making things skillfully.
Exactly. Whether it's physical or cognitive, that deep engagement in skilled work feels inherently meaningful.
And it shapes our experience, too.
That's Winifred Gallagher's point. He references who you are is the sum of what you focus on. If your work life is mostly shallow distraction,
Then your experience of work is stressful and trivial.
pretty much. But if you prioritize deep work, engaging with significant challenges, it leads to a more fulfilling, meaningful professional life. And a richer learning experience, too, not just skimming.
Okay. Compelling case made. Value. Rarity meaning. So how do we actually do it? Rule #1. Work deeply. He gives 4 philosophies, right?
Yeah, 4 ways to structure it. First is the monastic philosophy.
Sounds intense.
It is. Basically eliminate shallow stuff almost entirely. Think Donald Knuth, the computer scientist, or Neil Stephenson, the author. Famously inaccessible, maximizing uninterrupted time.
Okay, maybe not for everyone. What's next?
The bimodal philosophy, this is more about alternating periods of intense, isolated deep work and periods of, regular life and shallower tasks.
Like Carl Jung going off to his tower retreat.
Exactly. Or Adam Grant structuring his academic year intense research semesters, then teaching semesters, plus multi-day deep work blocks. It builds in the focus, but acknowledges other demands.
That seems more manageable for some. Then there's rhythmic.
The rhythmic philosophy.
Yeah.
This is about building a consistent daily habit, even if it's just for a set amount of time each day.
Like Jerry Seinfeld writing jokes every single day. The don't break the chain method.
Yeah, that's a great example. Or William Shockley's intense burst working on the transistor design. Consistency is key here.
And last one, Journalistic.
The journalistic philosophy. This is for people who need to switch into deep work mode quickly whenever they get a spare moment, like a journalist on a deadline.
Requires real mental agility, that one.
Definitely. And Newport stresses you got to find what fits your life and job. Trying to be monastic when you need constant collaboration is just setting yourself up to fail. Find your rhythm.
Makes sense. Okay, rule #2, embrace boredom. In this world, good luck.
Right, it sounds radical. But his point is, our willpower to resist distractions is finite. We know this from studies, like Hoffman and Baumeister's. Constantly fighting urges wears you out.
So you can't just rely on willpower to stay focused.
No, that's where routines and rituals come in. Set up your environment, your schedule to support deep work. Make it the default, not a constant battle, less friction.
And boredom itself might even be useful.
Potentially. He mentions unconscious thought theory, letting your mind process complex problems in the background while you do something else, or nothing.
Like letting things percolate.
Yeah. And downtime is obviously crucial for recharging that focus ability. Attention restoration theory suggests time in nature, or just relaxing restores your directed attention.
So breaks aren't lazy, they're necessary for performance.
Absolutely. But know your limits, too. Even elite performers only manage about 3-4 hours of really intense, deliberate practice a day. Pushing too hard is counterproductive.
What about all those nagging, unfinished tasks? The Zeigarnik effect.
Ah, yes. The solution. Make a concrete plan. Just deciding when and how you'll tackle those open loops helps clear your mental workspace, like that consider it done study showed.
Close the mental tabs, basically.
Pretty much. And remember, focus is like a muscle. You train it. Like Adam Marlin using Talmud study to sharpen his business thinking. The consistent mental effort builds capacity.
Which highlights the danger of constant smartphone use. The on-demand distraction.
Exactly. Clifford Nass's research suggested it could literally rewire your brain to crave distraction, making sustained focus harder.
Ouch. So an occasional internet Sabbath isn't enough.
Newport argues probably not. For deep rewiring, he suggests scheduling internet blocks and forcing yourself to be offline in between. Get comfortable with being bored again. Train that focus muscle.
Okay. Rule #3 is the really provocative one. Quit social media.
Yeah, that gets people's attention. He uses Baratan Thurston's 25-day digital detox as an example. Thurston found life was possible, even less stressful, without constant connection.
But it's not necessarily all or nothing, right?
No, he critiques that binary thinking. His main issue is the any benefit mindset adopting tools, just because they offer some small advantage without weighing the significant cost to focus.
So we should be more critical, like a craftsman choosing tools.
Exactly, the craftsman approach.
Yeah.
Does this tool's benefit substantially outweigh the negatives, especially regarding your core goals? Like Forrest Pritchard selling his hay baller, useful, but maybe not the best overall strategy for him.
How do you apply that to social media then?
Use the law of the vital few. Identify your main goals, the key activities that drive them. Does social media truly help with those vital activities? Or is it mostly a distraction? He notes people like Gladwell and Michael Lewis thrive without heavy Twitter use.
So be honest about its actual value to you.
Yes. And he suggests that 30-day social media packing party to figure it out. Quit cold turkey for a month, don't announce it, then see how you feel. Did you miss it? Was it actually essential?
A real reality check.
Okay.
Okay, final rule. Rule #4, drain the shallows.
This is about actively eliminating or minimizing low-value, shallow work to make room for the deep stuff.
Like Arnold Bennett's day within a day, using non-work hours well.
Partly that, but also within the workday. He mentions Jason Fried cutting down to a 4-day work week at Basecamp by reducing shallow tasks, and finding productivity didn't drop.
Focus on impact, not just being busy.
Exactly. But first, you have to identify the shallows. That ambiguity is tricky.
Which is where his test comes in.
Right. The how long to train a smart college grad test. If it's quick to train someone else with no specialized background to do it, it's probably shallow work.
Like routine PowerPoints or some meetings, maybe?
Often, yes. It forces you to evaluate tasks critically. Is this really the best use of my focus time?
He also pushes fixed schedule productivity, ending work at a set time.
Yeah, like aiming to finish by 5:30 p.m. every day. It creates scarcity, forces you to prioritize and be efficient. You mentioned you do something similar, right?
I try. Rarely work or email after 5:30 C. It really helps create a boundary.
Definitely. And for unavoidable shallow stuff like email, he suggests things like sender filters, processing in batches, making replies more comprehensive to reduce back and forth.
Be more intentional, basically.
That's the core idea. Be ruthless about identifying shallow work and fiercely protect your time for deep, meaningful effort.
Thank you so much for diving deep with us into Cal Newport's deep work. We really hope this exploration gave you some valuable insights, maybe some practical strategies to start using.
Yeah, the core message is powerful. Embrace depth, minimize the shallows. It's not just about productivity. It's about finding more meaning in what you do, whether it's work or learning.
We really encourage you to think about what we discussed. Maybe experimenting with a bimodal schedule, or trying that social media packing party.
Or even just setting a hard stop time for your workday. What resonates most with you? What's one small step you could take, maybe even this week, to carve out a bit more space for focus?
We truly appreciate you joining us for this literary exploration. Your curiosity, your desire for knowledge, that's what drives us.
Absolutely.
Tune in next time for another deep dive into a book aimed at enriching your understanding. Until then, happy reading, and may you find many moments of profound focus in your days.